Hello, everyone. My name is So Young Jin from Genome and Company. I know that today's title is Microbiome Global Status and Licensing Out Strategies. And at the 2022 BioKorea Invest Fair, there was another representative who gave a speech. So I would like to take a slightly different focus, and I'm going to focus on our growth strategies. And one of the growth strategies that we utilize is merger and acquisition. So I'm going to take this opportunity to explain on this one. So my table of contents for this presentation is company overview, and then our M&A process, as well as Xyoto Bioscience that we have acquired recently, as well as List Lab that we acquired as well. We are going to show you our target and goals about how we want to grow as a global company. I'm sure that you have already heard about this. There is a close relationship between humans and diseases and the environment. As you know, there are infectious diseases, anti-cancer, drugs, and metabolistic diseases. And individual company has their own microbiome to treat individual indication. And as you can see, there are global microbiome companies, and they are growing their market cap and making up their market cap according to their capabilities. Finch, Genome and Company, Go Biolab, all these ones in the US and Korea are actively playing a role in this financial market. And if you look at what they are doing at the moment, Cellus Therapeutics, as you can see, is SEI 109. That's this infectious disease treatment. It passed clinical trial phase 3, and now it is going through the very final stage. And for 40 Pharma, which is a UK company, mRNS is now going through joint clinical study with Pitramap for solid cancer. And there are other companies that are coming up with anti-cancer treatments as well. And now moving back to genome and what we are doing is joint studies with Pitramap and other anti-cancer drugs. Within this year, we will be able to show some legitimate data that could be more valid for our further research. And SCB-12 is a representative microbiome special treatment that is targeting autistic spectrum disorder, and the clinical stage is almost over. And another company that is famous in Korea is Ko Biolabs, and they're doing treating psoriasis and inflammatory bowel diseases. And as I shared earlier, Theros Therapeutics is showing a valid points. And as FDA wanted to get more additional data for verification, the patient study is almost over. And I believe that according to the earning calls report, this year they're going to submit BLA, and within next year they're going to come up with a number one microbiome treatment next year. So we have looked at microbiome treatments, study scenes. And from now on, I'm going to look at what we are doing when it comes to microbiome treatment, research and development. I'm going to move on to company overview. Genome and Company was founded back in 2015, and Hansu Park is the founder. And this March, I joined the foundership, and there are 3 different founders that are making up the company. This leadership, we have about 100 employees, and we are located in Pangyo, in Bundang, and we are focusing on microbiome and also discovering novel targets for antibody treatments. And to go on to research and development pipeline, we're focusing on genomes. We have GEN001. This is a single strip, and we're targeting solid cancer, stomach cancer, as well as cholangiocarcinoma, and we are going through many different clinical trial phases. I believe that there are 3 different pipelines that's targeting and going through clinical phase 2. And as you can see from here, we have a new target anti-cancer drugs. We will use a novel target inhibitor, which we are developing at the moment. And GINA 104 is showing the fastest results for that's going to target solid cancer. We're going through the preclinical stage, and maybe early next year we'll go to clinical phase. And as I shared earlier, we have SB121, which is a microbiome treatment that's targeting autistic spectrum disorder. Clinical 1 is over, and for infertility product, GN004, we are researching it. And for GN501, which is skin rash after anti-cancer treatment and atopy skin disorder as well. So if you look at our history, after the foundation back in 2015, we got listed, and in 2000, we got listed in Konex in 2018, and in 2020 we were listed on Kosdaq, and then in July of 2020 we acquired Xyoto Biosciences, and last year we also bought List Biological Laboratory, which is called List Labs. And I'm going to share with you why we made these decisions. We're focusing on business model and research and development. We're aiming for a totally, fully integrated and comprehensive business model. We want to acquire capabilities, end-to-end capabilities that can cover not only technological and development, but also commercialization and business capabilities as well. And not just immuno anti-cancer drug portfolio, we are going to expand to brain diseases and neural diseases, as I shared earlier. And we are doing CDMO with other companies. Given the new modality, I think securing production capabilities could be very important going forward. So by acquiring CDMO companies, we're going to internalize our production capabilities and is going to make everything in-house. And now I'm going to talk about Xyoto Biosciences. Why did we buy Xyoto Biosciences? I think it was around 2019 that we decided to buy Xyoto Biosciences. There were about 30 to 40 candidates, and among them, we saw that a program that is going to enter into clinical phase 1 is going to be the best candidate. And, there is some time that to move up to preclinic to clinical stage. So we wanted to see what companies are already secured pipelines, and after going through all the thorough reviews and everything, JPM conferences and other opportunities, we had in-person meetings with European and US companies, and we made a finalist that it's composed of 5 different companies, including Xyoto Biosciences. And we made a negotiation, and due diligence happened since May, and after 2020 June, we decided to finalize the purchase. And this is the target screening that we have carried out. There are many different listed companies, and we saw a long list, and you can see that we made a short list with this top 5. And if it's going to be related to microbiome, prebiotics, postbiotics, FEOT, there are different strategies you can choose from. And let's say that technology could have engineering characteristics, or if it's a platform technology, those different content is important because we could further reflect and apply that to different pipelines. And clinical stage was important too, because we wanted to specifically have a company that could enter clinical phase 1 within 1 year from that specific moment. So that was the short list we created. And among other companies, Xyoto Biosciences was based in Indianapolis. And if you look at the pipeline, they were focusing on autistic spectrum disorder, which is quite attractive. So instead of just doing licensing in, we wanted to buy all the equities of Xyoto Biosciences. And this particular company was founded in 2017. It's located in Indianapolis, in Indiana. And they were going through Series A and B when we looked at them. And then I believe that it's closer to NIBD model from our perspective. They got all the technologies and research results from BioCrossroads and different academia. And important key figures have joined the team as well. You can see that Lactobacillus rutili and dextrin microspheres and maltose were added together to create SP121. Instead of using a single ingredient, the activation level was quite higher, and that was the key characteristics of their development program. And according to the research results, it will go through vagus nerves and will exude oxytocin and other materials, ingredients, and this is going to serve as a protein treatment mechanism. So by going through mechanisms and clinical potentials, there is also GI tract effects where you can expect antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory impacts. It won't just apply to ASD, but could also expand to other indications as well, and which is quite attractive. And currently, we are going through clinical phase 1, and we are now doing the interim analysis after the clinical study. And even though was just phase 1, there are many exciting points that we have caught. So should be able to disclose our findings with you sooner rather than later. And there's also necrotizing enterocolitis. This is bowel disease that is witnessed in newborns, and I think we will be able to enter clinical phase 1 within this year. And secondly, I want to talk about List Biological Laboratories, which is a microbiome CDMO company, and disclose why we decided to purchase them. We might think that, oh, you are an R&D company, why do you need a CDMO company? As I shared earlier, even though we are focusing on research and development, production has to be resolved. Without the internalization of production capabilities, you can't actually make it into a model or make it into a product if you do not have production facilities. So for production facility, we needed a feature or a physical ground, and we wanted to find ways to maximize our business margins and profitability as well. As you all know, among microbiome or biopharma industry, it is going up when it comes to CDMO markets. And currently, microbiome treatments are just going through clinical phase 1. So for production, they tend to rely on other CDMO enterprises. And if you look at these 6 companies, they are playing an oligarchy in the industry. We have Australia, US, and Europe-based companies. And if you look at their capacity, their antibody CDMO is quite small when it comes to share, and small and medium-sized CDMOs are out there in the market and industry. So in that sense, let's say microbiome treatments are going to become mature, we'll go through clinical stage 2 and 3. We will need a CDMO with a mature technology and facility. And as a result, to cover the commercialization, we wanted to buy in List Labs. So we bought List Labs in 2021, and then we are going to further expand our move so that DSDP can be covered. And currently, we are building a company and a plant in Fishers in Indiana so that we can go global in including Europe and the United States. And when we bought List Labs, what we looked at are the followings. So currently we have SB121 and GN004 and microbiome pipelines. We're going to let List Labs handle and produce our materials. We had been building partnerships beforehand. And List Labs also have a original Botox stream. And they have also made Botox products by working with Elegant as well. So they have already matured their production capabilities to a level of US FDA CGMP, and they have been researching and developing biotoxins, and I think they have recently expanded to other microbiome CDMO as well. So, given these thought process in the initial stage, from stage 1 of acquiring CDMO, we are going to further sophisticate our production capabilities. So not only we can provide and produce our own products, we're going to expand the production bases towards other locations to go global. So we have, even though we are a biotech based in Korea, we are now looking for partnerships in the United States and Europe so that we can internalize fully our production capabilities. We are going to become a global biopharmaceutical company in the near future. So this is the vision that we have shared earlier. For a fully integrated and comprehensive company that we are aiming for, we want to make sure that our whole cycle is covering R&D and all the way to production and commercialization. Of course, it's going to take some time, but I believe that in terms of R&D and production, we are definitely becoming a comprehensive and integrated company, and we're putting further efforts into it. This is my last slide. This is a movie called Far and Away where Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman featured. And this is a movie with the background of the Wild West of the United States. I'm sure you are aiming to become global companies like Amgen and Gilead's or other famous ones. The issue is how far we could go, how we're going to conquer new territories with our capabilities. I believe that we can do it as we work harder. Thank you very much.